Hey guys, welcome back. It's Carter with BitsBeTrippin. Glad to have you back. Glad to be back online. It's been roughly about 2 months since we've actually made a video in the studio. Of course, we were at Miners Disrupt, brought the whole team out there. Well, most of the whole team. We saw Brian here and a few others that help out here at the office. But we did have quite a few people out at Miners Disrupt. You guys have been seeing some of those videos, but we're peeling back some now like current content that we're working on out here at the shop, bringing you guys along with us when it comes to maintenance. We do a biannual maintenance on the containers that we have. We're talking the filters. So there's an intake. Anybody that's not familiar with crypto mining, let's step back. When you're doing it at, the 40-foot container and it's outside, essentially you have an intake lane that pulls air in. You're filtering that air as much as possible. It's not like the highest NEMA setting, on your filters, but it is enough to collect dirt and heavy, debris, be it leaves, those type of things, because you're outdoor. Collects that on the filters, then fresh air comes through. Machines breathe that fresh air, and then it expels essentially the hot air. It's, using just the internal fans of the machines, and then we have a fan assist on the container itself. We have 21 37,500 CFM fans per container. It's around a little over 400,000 CFM coming off of each of those containers. So it's essentially displacing about 2 million CFM in that whole site, right? So a lot of airflow, 24/7. Those things are running as much as possible. Actually, our load factor is around 95% because we do some curtailment. But to give you an idea, most of these have been running since January, and they've collected quite a bit of dust. And you can start to see that in the ambient air, the amount of air that can come in. You have a lot more pressure there, and we end up seeing the machines start to lift in their heat. Now, you couple that with a hot summer this year that we've had, and you got essentially a recipe to where you need to go through and do a cleaning. So this is our first cleaning of the year of those filters, and we're going to take you guys through that process. We just wanted to walk you through, kind of set that story up, and we're going to show essentially the process. So I'm not going to have a lot of talk over on it, just kind of showing what we're doing from removing the filters, bringing them back to the shop, cleaning them, then replacing the filters back in place. And this whole thing essentially was a day turnaround. So it took us about 24 hours for the 4 containers to get everything tore down, brought here, and then taken back to the site. And it was a very hot day when we did it. We were curtailing those days, so we were trying to correspond that when we're actually not putting a heavy load on the machines, can spin the fans down some to be able to get the filters out there and not have a lot of debris come back out of the filters. But let's peel this back. That way you guys can take a look at this process. Okay, hopefully you guys liked seeing, how do we handle taking care of the filters. We learned quite a bit in this process, really, from just how to label and number things. These Watum containers, each one of them are a little different. Their sizing, you could tell that they were built at different times. Some of the materials that were used, even just the brace points and essentially the locking washers and stuff were different in some of these containers. So, you could tell that these were, the first sets of containers that they were building, and we essentially learned that we needed to change a few things now, putting them back to kind of uniformly have guidance, essentially, by labeling each of the filters, where they went, what side was up, what side was down, that kind of thing. So things that you end up discovering as you go through that process. That's going to be a lot within a lot of these builds. A lot of the containers that are out there are in their third and fourth generation, if you start looking at some of the larger container builders, and I think they've learned a lot of lessons, as part of that. And that's like with anything in any new nascent technology, is you're going to get, essentially the trial when you first, if you're one of the first actors on those containers. So we learned a lot there. I think we've refined our process, but we wanted to take you guys through that process of what we've been doing and how we kind of been handling it at that scale, and work through a few more videos for you guys